Welcome back to the climactic Game 3 between Apex and Envy. Game 2 was super exciting. Ray went off on Jarvan.
Oh, yeah. A little bit faster, too. 35 minutes, so didn't have to wait that long for the action to come through. The J4 dunks. Back on a carry for Ray as well. Really, really great to see that, because I think that's definitely how they were winning their games before, giving him Rift Herald, which he got again, and being able to close out that way. And now, another battle's happening, because Ray and Seraph are now #1 and tied for player of the game points at 3 apiece. They're alone there, too. It's just those two. So one of them is going to come out on top in the series, not necessarily in player of the game points, though.
There can only be one POG champ, and we'll see who's going to get the honors here in this one. Apex and Envy in the mix. Lissandra banned away again. No Aurelia this time for Seraph. And we'll see if Envy cares about the Jarvan after all.
Yeah, and we've been seeing these slower games, too. So things like Aurelia have actually been pretty good, because these slow games allow you to hit break points for your items where you're able to go after the AD carry. We saw before, I believe Seraph even used his Youmuu's Ghostblade in Game 1 to ever kill anybody, or even against anybody. It was to kill the AD carry, because you already had 2-3 items.
No Vladimir on the table either. Apex not allowed to play this one. Looks like we're seeing a lot of red side Vladimir bans now at this point of the stage. Nidalee banned away by Proxen once again. Does not want to give that one over. And another Rise ban here for Apex this time around.
So the Maokai is the one that slips through the cracks right now from Apex.
Well, but Ray's been happy to play against it with things like Trundle and things like Fizz, exactly.
Fizz was the counter to Maokai for the longest time.
And even though they had banned it before, Maokai did get nerfed in 6.11. Less regen, and pre-level 9, a longer cooldown on his Q, the Arcane Smash.
Which you do feel
definitely matters in the lane matchups there. Rek'Sai actually the final ban here, not letting Shrimp get that one. 2 jungle bans.
Interesting.
That means first pick Swain's up for Keen, and I would lock that.
I think it's a really good pick here. They could pinch the jungle, though, go for something like Elise, but I think that this is the smart pick, so yep, they're going to go for the Swain.
At least Caitlyn, in terms of trying to take things away that Apex normally plays. I'm sure there's other great options as well, but that's the first thing that came to me in terms of denial picks, if that's even what you want to play.
What's funny is
decided.
Azir got a slight nerf, now not showing up at all.
He wasn't all that popular before anyway. Like, I don't remember what his popularity was in 6.10, but I don't think it was super high.
I can check it right now.
Yes, you can. I'm actually watching over your shoulder.
He was 79%.
Okay, so reasonably high.
He was the 6th most pick ban champion on 6.10.
He wasn't as popular in NA, but I guess that's my regional bias.
NA is yours, man.
Yeah. NA's ear. Oh, look at that, the Fizz hover. I mean, he knows what's up here.
I think it's fine to pick this. I think that Ninja can play it, Seraph can play it. I think it's great.
So the Fizz flex, I would not expect them to pick another solo lane until the very last pick here for Envy. And make them respect the matchup in both ends of the spectrum. There's 2 different Fizz builds you can go for here. Tank and Assassin, and it's got to be respected. Hovers back and forth. The Elise does come through, so that was going to be contestable. I mean, Proxen had played it earlier on.
So Proxen would have to go to Graves. You could go for Kha'Zix, which we saw a little bit of in the EU LCS, and go back to Kindred.
So there you go. Apex picked exactly what I thought Envy might steal away from them, because I knew that's exactly what Apex was going to want to play. Envy did not want to steal it away. And even though those champion picks were a little bit predictable, they'd rather get the Fizz out of Ray's hands. And they really want to play Karma.
This gets a little sticky, too, because this gives Apex, Caitlyn, and the possibility of Caitlyn Zyra.
It also gives Envy the chance to play Zyra. They can just play Karma mid lane and still get Zyra for themselves and play a really abusive bottom lane again. An option. I don't know if it's going to be what happens here.
You'd have to pick it here and then give away what your top laner, your mid laner, and support are.
You give out the matchups. Swain, though, I would expect to go into the mid lane anyway, but it's still, I guess, up for grabs. I don't think it's quite what Ray should be playing based on the kinds of games we're seeing from him, but we'll see. I also don't know what his matchup against Fizz is supposed to be. Kindred, Ezreal, actually. Kindred, oh, I forgot. Yeah, they, I guess, as we calling the champion, we're still up, and that's actually a nice pickup there. I guess you kind of wish you had it against the Jarvan.
Yep. Yeah,
but that's
actually.
That's not a thing anymore.
I mean, I guess it stops the Jarvan pick from coming through because they had actually not banned it away.
Right.
Or, I mean, maybe it doesn't. Who knows?
Sure.
But I think that it's something that you would shy away from once you saw the Kindred, especially since you've already locked in the Swain. You won't guarantee yourself a Zillion either.
It was up for options, then I guess it still can be in some levels here. Ezreal coming through for a lot, a very, very safe backliner. Does not want to go back for the server that he played the rest of the series, so something new for him, but it's 3 straight Caitlyn games for Apollo, as he hovers Jinx for no apparent reason, and we figure out what the lineup's going to be. Jax and Braum are gonna be the picks here, so Jax into an expected Fizz, though that could be flexed around, and another Braum game for Xpecial. This makes, by the way, the 6th unique champion pick for Ray in 8 games. He's doubled up on Echo, and he's doubled up on Fizz. And now Jax coming through to be the carry.
Xpecial seems to be able to just want, or I guess not be able to, but he always seems to want the Braum over everything else.
Yeah.
The Braum is the champion that he's going to gravitate towards every time, and looks like the final pick there is Anivia for the mid lane to stop Swain from getting in and have a little bit of range on him. So we'll see how that one works out, because I've seen it go both ways. If you're able to actually land the never move onto Anivia, you can really punish him.
Yeah, and Nivea is actually pretty awkward into Jax as well. He pretty much always has agency in dodging your Q, and then landing his counter-strike stun, he stops your ultimate, as well as the the Anivia loses the Glacial Storm. So some parts of this matchup are definitely going to be rough, but still, Anivia definitely a very respectable champion. It's a solid sort of zone control champion with double marksman behind and Karma for some extra shielding. If Envy can play a slightly longer team fight and kite out the Swain properly, this could look very good for the red team here. But Ray, it's in his hands to be the hard carry. He's got a Jax. He's probably going to get a Rift Herald.
Yeah, if he gets the Rift Herald, then that's really big. They've given it over to him every single time. Every game that they've won, they've had a Rift Herald.
Yeah, they did, however, lose one game with Rift Herald. They lost the Shen game with it, so it's no longer 100% correlation. But either way, certainly a strong team. Both these squads are. Make sure to send your Twitter votes to us at Lily Sports. Hashtag APX win or hashtag NV win for which team it's going to be. And honestly, this is going to be such a very good match. Jax versus Fizz, the top lane matchup. The two top of the scoreboard player of the game top laners here, Ray and Seraph, are so good at the game. The almost sort of the ones leading the charge to make their teams win. And now in game 3, the last game of the night to win the match. Here it is, Apex versus Envy. Who's going to remain undefeated?
It's the clash of the top lane titans. And it's funny because Seraph really leads his team into battle, whereas Ray is kind of like, give me everything, and I'm going to go do this myself. You can draft around me, you can give me Rift Herald, everything like that, and he's just going to go run off, do his split push thing, assassinate one person, do his job. So it's kind of one-man army versus the general at that point.
That's true.
Seraph, this matchup is something that I am not familiar with at all, especially since I haven't been seeing much Jax. A lot of people are playing the Ignite top laners again, where they have even like Hecarim and stuff like that.
Right.
But yes, the Fizz having that summoner spell over the Jax is something that you can't underestimate, because Ignite will do a lot of damage to him and could be the breaking point, because you don't always expect Fizz's W to do that much damage with an Ignite.
Very true. Right now, though, gold lead for Ray. He learned W and killed the Trinket Ward from Seraph, so padding the stats some more. But also, Hako earning plenty from Spell Thieves and Bandit. And here's the recall. Looks like Apex wants to get themselves into a lane swap situation, but the same here coming in for Envy. Look at this. All the players started and faked their recalls. Laud and Hakuho will be heading down to the bot lane, and it will be a lane swap here, which I gotta say, I think is to the advantage of Apex, because I don't know if I let Caitlyn Braum and Ezreal Karma. I feel like Xpecial will get poked out.
Yes.
But I could be wrong in my assessment.
Yeah, it's definitely the poke lane there. When you have these two skill shots coming through from the Karma and the Ezreal, if they're able to make contact, you don't have any sustain, you don't really have any way to return fire, and it's kind of relying on the long cooldown of the Winter's Bite from Xpecial. So Seraph gonna walk up here, speaking of Winter's Bite.
And gets spotted out. He did not learn Playful Trickster, by the way. He's actually got the Seastone Trident, so Ignite, the damage is there, and Seraph does not have Flash, by the way. So the Flash follow is in, the heal, and the first blood comes through.
Here's
Nicely done. Yeah, Xpecial's dead, but you know what? That's where you say hashtag worth right there. 400 gold in the pockets of Apollo.
Yeah, because he doesn't have the Flash, he has the Ignite. Seraph used his Ignite there as well.
Help get the kill.
Proxen is actually coming up here, though. You can do this as Kindred, but he doesn't have red buff.
No sums on Apollo, though.
Apollo's
He's got
already low.
Yeah, this could be an easy kill. Apollo's trying to kite away. Oh, just kidding. There's too much damage. Proxen has to run back away, and the teleport actually does get completed. Keen now in a really bad spot. He will flash away and stay alive, but that's 2 summoners down for the Swain.
Yeah, Hako with the roam and the exhaust to get the flash and the ghost out of Keen. coming up from the bottom lane, especially since it's a lane swap, you have some time, and you know that the top side, because Xpecial was killed, you have so much time as a support to do whatever you want because that lane is not going to get pushed up. And that was actually kind of bad timing by Proxen because Apollo hit level 2 and learned...
If he had flashed, he would have taken that.
Nice. Just barely. But yeah, Apollo hit level 2 and learned his 90 caliber net, which gave him the distance, gave him the slow, gave him the headshot, and then chunked out Proxen. Otherwise, Proxen would have been able to kind of head him off at the pass, and the TPs would have tried to make the difference there. Gotta kind of move away.
Yeah. Scumbag Apollo didn't give the CS over to Xpecial. So Xpecial actually is 3.5 minutes in and still has not been able to use a Relic Shield stack. He just got back to lane now and is sadly not earning any extra gold, whereas Hakuho is just kind of rolling in dough.
It's actually kind of interesting right now because Keen is far up in this lane, and you can even see right now Hakuho is not deciding to do it. But Hakuho could totally come up through the jungle and go after the no summoner spell Swain. There's no wards in this bot side, and they didn't see where he was backing. So
Flash Karma is a guaranteed Flash Frost, from Ninja. So yeah, I mean that is a guaranteed kill if Keen keeps playing this aggressively.
Yeah, because Keen was playing aggressive because Shrimp was coming up, but Ninja
nice.
interrupts it, and they give over the gold to Jax.
And Ray will get to freeze this.
Completely expected.
Oh no, he sees that they're coming down. He saw that Seraph is in the bot lane, and know that his TP list was going to stay down there and shoves the wave.
So you see this ward that's right by where the Krugs are? And
above Krugs in the top of the map,
exactly.
yeah.
We're seeing that mirrored on both sides, and that's the ward that tells the top laner who's coming, and do you push the wave or do you freeze it? Because if you push the wave when it's the AD carry and support, and hold on, we'll talk about that in a second, because Keen has no summoner.
Keen is donezo. Stun's going to land. There's the E as well. Goodbye, Frostbite, and Proxen gets himself the kill. 2-0 start for this kid, or the beneficiary.
No stacks, though. Got to call his target. He marked Shrimp, and he's killed 2 people so far.
And normally you do start with a jungler, but yeah, summonerless mid laner, like that's just almost obvious at all times.
And it's changed, so it's 15 seconds less between marking people. It used to be 90, now it's 75. So even if you mark somebody that you're like, he's probably not going to die, he's got 0 deaths, and we're like 20 minutes in, he's got summoners, you just mark somebody else. It's totally fine, and you can swap it over.
Yeah, well, not the case right now. He didn't get the mark, and that means that Proxen's slightly weaker than he would otherwise be.
But still, 2 kills. Roaming through the jungle. Doesn't have any marks to pick up either. There's nothing
available on the map. It's Scuttles, which are dead, and the Raptor camp at the bottom of the map, but that's not really available to him right now. So round 2, the lane swap is once again mirrored as 3v0, as Xpecial and Apollo will knock that turret down. Right now, 400 gold lead for Envy. And that is thanks to Hakuho and then Proxen's ganks into the mid lane.
They're just going after this mid lane here, trying to make all of the action happen here. Ninja's playing far back, though. Ninja just is sensing this, and he's playing towards the side of the map that has his wards and where his jungler is. So you always want to play to that side so that you never have a disadvantage if somebody shows up.
The reinforcements are there, and a decent percentage of the time that will save your life. So good advice doled out by Zyrene and
play to your
illustrated
wards.
by Ninja.
Play to your jungle.
Play to your teammates, absolutely. And that's not just playing DJ Sona. I mean, that's really
Ooh. Rift Herald.
And he's going to get this one. Should be not too big of an issue.
You give it to Seraph. 100% give it to Seraph.
It will be a trade, though. Rift Herald will go over, but so will the Ocean Drake. And if Seraph can come down, and he is, there's the Fizz walking to that side of the map. Doesn't even deal damage. Just walks in, grabs the buff, and recalls. Ocean Drake, will not be a problem for Apex. They will get this one. And again, this early on, this is the best rate you can get. So quite fortunate for Apex this is available to them. And like before, we had the team that started the lane swap with their dual lane on the bot side, did not take that Drake in the first round of the swap. And I actually wonder if teams will start to make that choice once they realize how good early Ocean is, or if it's just really not tenable based on how the lane swaps play out.
Yeah, I think based on the Drake, you make the call. If it's like Infernal or something, maybe you do. Because teams really value that one.
Right.
Or Mountain, but we haven't seen those be any of the starting ones in this series.
Yeah.
But I think the team should try it in scrims and then see if it actually messes up the timing of the lane swap.
Right.
Because it could throw off the entire thing.
Yeah, I mean, you do pay attacks, right? You're stuck on that side of the map, not recalling, not manipulating lanes for a good 40 seconds or 30 or whatever the number ends up being. But either way, due to how the game plays out, it's going to be Envy getting Rift Herald on a Seraph, and it's going to be APX getting an Ocean Drake on everybody.
And this is where the freezes get pushed all the way to the turret, and top laners then get a large burst of CS. But if they get killed before then...
They're not stuffed.
If they get killed before then, you're pretty much out of the game.
Yeah. Ideally, both teams make a 4-man push to that tier 2 turret. If the other team doesn't respond to you, you want to make sure that top laner does not get farmed. And Jack's actually one of the most resilient champions of tower dives, because you just turn on the dodge and you stun somebody, whoever took aggro is probably dead. And Seraph can do similar things because he has Playful Trickster, but there's no flash, so it's still hard to make the outplay.
He has to be able to pick this up. Traps will most likely come down near the turret if he's got them.
Proxen and Hako here to defend. It's Ezreal soloing against Jack, which is not an easy matchup for Lod, but Apollo putting some damage on the turret, but not enough. Look at that, Seraph getting a fair bit of this farm. And it looks like, yeah, Envy were able to grab the wave. Shrimp was not there in time, and Keen wasn't able to rotate up either to post any threat. Just unfortunately slow for them.
Is this going to be a dive onto... No, it's not going to be a dive onto Ninja. Hakuo does spot the Spiderlings and Shrimp as he walks away.
Yeah, he had the sense to know that there's probably someone around the wall. Ninja gonna walk right into Keen.
No mana, though, on Keen. Just trying to interrupt the back. Flash Frost.
Nice, gets the stun. Well played by Ninja.
Here's the TP, though.
The flash cocoon by Shrimp is there! And Ninja will turn into an egg. Log gets the ulti across. Here comes the team Proxen.
Little early.
The egg alive with the ultimate. And it's a kill coming through for Seraph. 3-1 on the scoreboard. Seraph gonna live as well. Ninja gets another one. Knocking down Ray. Envy somehow make that a 2 for 0.
And I love that we're seeing this in this game. We're seeing proactive plays early on. Last game, it was mostly APX that was making those early moves, and then they were the ones who were rewarded ultimately with the victory. In the first game, everybody's just sitting around waiting for item spikes. We don't even have close to a Trinity Force right now on either top laner, and we're still seeing people group up, TP in, make these plays, and that was really well timed. I think Envy definitely should have taken that fight because there's no mana on Keen. He's basically useless. You see it here. Spends his last little bit. Ninja throws everything out, gets the Flash Frost, so he has nothing. Then the TP in the back, they exhaust Jax. He's too far away, and then they just burst him with damage. Proxen, if he actually gets that Lamb's Respite off, it'll keep Ninja from going into egg, and he's able to continue dealing damage. And then he becomes an egg afterwards. So it's just actually incredibly annoying to deal with an Anivia when there's a Kindred nearby.
And all that was difficult. Now Ray and Seraph in a bit of a duel.
Seraph's close to 6.
Yeah, and Shrimp is taxing some of the XP away from Ray right now as he finally walks down. Seraph is this wave away, maybe 2 CS.
If he hits 6, he might actually... No? Not going to go for it. He does have Rift Herald buff.
Yeah, but he saw Shrimp 12 seconds ago and probably doesn't want to fight a 1v2. And he won't go for it. Ninja gets the blue buff pretty easily.
They're wrapping around here. You can see Lod and Hakuo are actually coming around. Oh,
he shorted it. He got it a little bit too short, and it actually stopped.
So there are some spells that will not fly the full range when you throw it unless you put it there. He put it right on top of him and goes a little short.
Yep, nice dodge by Seraph. Gets away from the stun. Pretty easy to time. You have to wait a full second before you can reactivate that ability as Jax.
You want to harass him under this turret. Hakuo, you really want to be able to just maybe even dive him. This is a gigantic wave for Ray.
Ninja forcing Keen away from him. Both these players have a low cooldown ultimate, so they can kind of trade constantly. But it looks like Keen was getting slightly better trades out of this one, thanks to the sustain. But Ninja up a solid 23 minions is not going to fall away from this lane easily.
It's a good pick. I like the Anivia that we're seeing here into Swain and those low mobility mid laners like the Vladimir. Try to keep them away. We saw it from Immortals versus Vladimir as well.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely a good choice. Stylistically, it makes a lot of sense. Ninja clears the wave, no big problem. 100 CS for him, 12 minutes in. And just a sizable lead. The completed Rod of Ages already stacking, already 2 stacks on it. Keen still does not have that item for himself, and that lead will grow.
So there are some choices that are being made here across the map. Proxen comes up top, sits in this bush, waiting for Seraph and Ray to actually make contact with each other, but they gave up farm on Seraph for farm on Lod because he's the one who caught the bot wave. So they're just really looking for some type of advantage in this top lane, and they're playing to Seraph on Envy's side.
And Ray sniffs out the fact that might happen to him and just makes a simple recall. It does give the option to a freeze to Seraph, though, which means that top lane matchup is going to get a little bit worse for him.
Well, the thing is, if they take Ray and they put him on the bot side now, he picks up this gigantic wave.
Still hitting top.
But they're going to put him top again.
Lane.
Which I don't think it's right. You do nothing in this top lane for the next minute and a half from Ray.
I think it's them playing for the Drake, though. Both teleports coming up very soon, and allocating your teleport to the top lane means that you are allowed to teleport to the bot with the rest of your lane already on that side of the map, so the posturing is for the neutral objective.
They don't have TP.
It's up soonish.
Yeah.
Something proxies 12 right away. They had the timer regardless, and looks like it's not going to be an issue at all. No chance to steal, and first strike of the game for Envy. Cloud, out of combat movement speed. Thank you very much.
The next 15. One's Ocean. So could be a second Ocean for Apex, but yes, Ray actually walks up here, and he's going to try to break the freeze, but it could just end up being him enforcing the freeze even more, or reinforcing the freeze. But they do get this topside jungle. They're able to steal the red away, and they might get a lot of this.
Uh-oh, Ray walking in a bit more aggressive than he needed to, but he did have the backup of special. Hakuho zoned him out with an empowered Q, and just be the minion wave here. And Seraph, again, there's nothing to play for. The Drake is gone for the next 6 minutes. Rift Herald does not respawn anymore. Baron's in 6 minutes as well. And that can just be a freeze and,
yeah, hold this,
you know, in perpetuity for really no threat. And Apex, I think, need to break that. Or they're start really falling behind in that top lane matchup.
So Envy just noticed that their red buff was taken. So now full push down the mid lane. Try to get control of that bot side jungle if he wanted red at all, but it's definitely turret damage is the highest priority here.
Ray wants to buy a bit of time, does put a little bit of fear on an Envy, and especially walls the wrong way so you can't block any more of the damage on the turret, but it does keep that turret alive at the very least. And you still have Seraph just freezing up in the top lane. Rift Herald on for another 12 minutes or so, and happy just to play a nice, patient game.
And we're seeing it go back to that, but look at this special.
And Ninja got in range in time, pops the wall, and it means that he had to flash over it.
I think this is actually quite smart here from Envy. You should be grouping up in this mid lane. Anivia is just such great siege potential, and you really have to answer it with the Caitlyn. Swain's going to be in a side lane with no TP, so you can just keep grouping up mid, and Apollo's really the one with the wave clear on the team.
Right. The only good wave clear at all. I mean, he has some.
You throw out a Q.
Yeah, neither is great at it, honestly.
You throw out a Q, and that's a single target thing because it swaps targets, and you can walk up with your R.
Yeah. But you always risk getting walled off and getting evaporated by all the damage you can put through. So yeah, some risks here for Apex for certain. Keen will play the side lane right now.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about the siege from Apex as it moves forward because they're pretty much, you have to catch somebody, you have to go in, whether it's a cocoon or you're landing and never move.
Well, if we know anything, though, Ray's going to eventually just win the top lane matchup, and that's not going to be about siege, it's going to be about answering Ray. So
it's already happening.
Yeah, there's a really good chance. The freeze is broken, Seraph pushing the top lane in. Plenty of time to react, and the blue buff will go to Proxen. He had to smite that one away. They did not go to their optimal teammate of Ninja, who I want to commend, by the way, for going Morella Namicon second. He's against Swain, and on Killer Assist, you get 20% of your mana back, and having a giant mana pool with a Rod of Ages is going to be nice for him.
Oh, man. Ray has a blue buff.
I think he just soloed it while his team was fighting on the right-hand side.
Yeah, because...
Yeah, Proxen walks in and goes, hey, wait, that's gone.
Yeah, Keen's on the bot side of the map, so he's not going to get the blue buff. So I guess Ray's like, it's either me taking it or Proxen.
Right, and I choose my team. And now Ray's in a bad spot, dodging away from some of the damage, jumps over the wall. Proxen does the same thing, and Seraph will join him soon. Mark is on, doing a fair bit of damage, but Ray will survive. He ulted late. I think he forgot that it gives you resists, but survives the encounter. Shrimp is going to help keep him alive, but Seraph could probably dive him.
Yeah,
with the ulti.
That's the worry here. So Special is walking up. Bot lane is having, it's basically Keen versus the bot lane of Envy. So Ray's going to have to pick this up. Man, these top laners are just trading waves like 3 minutes apart.
Yeah.
It's like, you get this one. Now slow freeze it and push it towards you.
Yep. But as the lane resets, there's 6 minions left for him to kill, and it's going to be 97 to 100. Seraph is actually, he was behind, by the way, and Seraph is frozen long enough that he's now ahead in that farm game.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that Seraph didn't try to make something happen.
Shark
he has Trinity.
onto Apollo. The jump over the wall, not quite enough damage dealt, though. Apollo burned flash to stay alive. As Hakuho kites away from the Braum.
I think this is definitely the window for the Fizz, because he has Trinity Force over the pieces that Jax has. And yeah, Apollo having to blow flash there, it could be a problem, but we're just seeing, we're seeing the lack of a forced siege from either team. And that has been, I mean, the theme of the entire series. And I was commending Envy for the early plays, but
They could pressure mid a lot harder. Ray gets away from this. He does have money for 294, so hasn't bought it yet, but he needs to
There they
pretty
go.
soon, and he will. The lane is pushed enough. Nice push into the mid lane. Ninja caught a trap, but he's going to be all right. That turret's nearly dead. Tries to something special, gets a bit of damage there. Ulti comes across, forcing the flash hit on Ninja. Whew. Nice Glacial Fissure by Xpecial.
yeah, you should just do this over and over again if you're Envy, because Keen is constantly pushing bottom to pick up CS because he can't lane against the Anivia. That's what he's basically saying.
Right.
I don't have the basically the ability to do so. I'm going to lose my turret eventually, but that's what's going to happen anyway. If they keep playing it appropriately on Envy's side.
Yeah, despite being an AP champion, has neither the ability nor the power to stand up to Anivia. Get it? His AP stands for nothing.
I hate you sometimes.
Not all the time. That's
Not all the
improvement.
time. Not all the time.
Nice. Shrimp takes away the Rift Scuttler and rejoins the potential mini wave at the bot side of the map. Quick red buff for Proxen as he goes towards probably Hurricane himself. Shrimp looking to make... Ooh, he got away from the blue trinket. He didn't get spotted. Doesn't matter.
He got pinged. Yeah. Ocean Drake coming up would be the second one for Apex. Seraph continuing to push out the top wave. So he's going for Sunfire Cape second
Yeah.
afterwards.
So
yeah,
instead
pretty
of
standard.
Iceborne in a tank, it's Triforce in a tank. It's less tanky, same CDR,
Way
more
more
on
attack
hit
speed.
damage,
Way
yeah,
more
and
attack
way
speed.
more attack speed, which is an important scaler when you're doing Fervor of Battle Fizz with your W active. And can be scary things. Lot and Co pushing the mid lane. This should be the kill. Yes, it is. Now Xpecial a bit too far up.
Here comes
Spinning just
Keen.
gets over the wall. And there's the Flash of Coon landing again for Shrimp on and into the roots there as well. But lands Respite buys some time.
Doesn't egg him yet.
Round two, gets the shield, gets out, and it is okay.
Oh, Ray!
In the back lane goes Ray. He wants this fight. He's going towards Prox, who's not outflames his fight, but he's getting rooted up, taking a lot of damage, goes down to Laud, and now the front line goes Shrimp, jumps away from the bunny. Apollo gets a kill. Special holding up the front line with a shield in this one, but it still will be the pickup. And Shrimp has gone down. Elise is dead. Apollo's going to be next up. He can't do enough damage. Another one picked up for Laud here. A great cleanup by him. Proxen in again. Then he will also get Xpecial. What a great team fight for Envy.
Seraph with the TP to go one screen away to get himself on the other side of the fight. That was just fantastic. Clean ace there, except for Ninja going down. So the 5 for 1. And the 4 members left are just going to push down the mid here and just make it an even better siege situation. I don't think you TP to this. You're either going to die or it's going to die.
So Ray TP's in, and nothing happens. So he misses a 4.5 minute cooldown here, and just kills off some minions.
Oh, man. Yep. Flash, Cocoon, sets up the fight. Great chain CC there. But that's the
Funnel
whole
into the
point.
Glacial Storm. Look at this. How do you run through that?
That's the whole point of that combination. And then Ray just tries to jump through, gets the egg, but then a lot of damage from Kindred and Lot ends up getting the counter kill. And then they're like, okay, we have to retreat. Oh, it's the... Okay, I guess Apollo has no flash. It's the zoning TP. It gets the other side, so they can't reinforce Apollo. And then Seraph and Proxen both come from pincers. And I talked about his TP flanks. Usually they're a map across, across the entire map. Not a screen.
Not quite so much, but you know, he made it.
But it was good. It was good.
It was good. And now Envy with a huge lead here. 6,000 gold up in an attempt at Baron, which they will kill fast.
Yeah, and before it's contested, the TP, I love it because Fizz's mobility moves are also his damage, so he wouldn't have shown up with as much damage if he'd kind of playful trickster towards the fight. So it's a really good choice. And yes, the Baron going over to Envy. They've blown this game wide open, 7,000 gold advantage, and Ocean Drake's just kind of been sitting there, I guess? No.
No, it hasn't spawned
went
yet.
out. It's,
Hold on, we're checking to see what's going on here. Yeah, they're still just on that first Ocean Drake as Apex.
Envy have one.
Envy
have
got
one.
it. Oh,
Envy have
okay,
one.
so we missed it out. Yeah, Envy managed to pick up their first Ocean Drake during the replay, so move that one forward. Next one up is Mountain, which with the amount of map control Envy has should be pretty solid for them. And Envy looking to make this a series win and extend their record to 3-0 in matches. One of the less likely great teams in North American LCS, but taking down 3 opponents is solid.
Said it day one, my dark horse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that Envy, when what we were seeing from Renegades near the end with 3 members of the squad,
Yeah.
Seraph, Ninja, and Hakuo, like Hakuo looked like he had the makings of being a really good support. Ninja, you know, we always knew that he was kind of good, and he had the potential to be good in his champion pool. He was never really one style. And then Seraph has just developed into a great talent in the top lane.
Yeah.
I'm constantly impressed by him.
And you might be again, he's starting to push down Ray, who had normally been the king of one-on-one top lanes. This time around, having a much harder time of it. Had bested Quas and Darshan before, and now Seraph. Outside of a couple of really good glimmers from Ray and some nice plays, Seraph seems to be at least his equal, and now leading his team to victory. And a strong game here in the third of the set. That will be the 6th turret kill of the game for Envy. 3,400 gold lead thanks to Baron and the work they've done with it. And we even have one person wearing the Runic Blessing, I think. The one where you get longer buff durations, because plus 31 seconds in the top right corner. That's what that golden plus 31 means, is someone's got extra buff duration.
Yep. Baron currently lasts 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and with that, it's 4 minutes and 1 second. It's that middle tree, second tier, all the way to the left.
Yeah.
Right. First keystone, I guess, because they're all kind of keystone.
I don't think we called them keystones. Maybe we do.
Well, they're not the final keystones, I guess.
Right, I know, but I don't know the official nomenclature we have for them. I don't know what the designers called them when they were designing them. They used to say gold medal masteries because the idea of a one-pointer like midway through the tree. What they used to say like way back in the day.
They're the one-point wonders, man.
Yeah, that's also just a nice one to say. Either way, though, feeling pretty solid now for Envy. And it's up to APX to find a way to scrape themselves back in. The problem is, though, the damage output's high enough that they can break through Keen's regeneration and Ray's occasional dodging. And the front line just doesn't live long enough to keep the damage output out for APX.
Oh, yeah. And
still pushing through.
A lot of these guys are actually going to stay a little bit away. So the Lamb's Respite is most likely always going to be on the Anivia as long as Proxen's in range to do so before the egg gets popped.
Right.
And Proxen rocking the 100% kill participation right now from the early game where he got that kill. Almost died, but he's been playing really well, and Keen might be dead.
He's probably going to be no good summoner heal and does stay alive, limping away with almost no health left. Rough road ahead for Apex. Baron Nashville left up on the Anivia. It's Ninja who got it.
Flash in from
low.
Sorry, jump over the wall.
Yeah, a bit aggressive there, but a wall comes up, and that's going to actually make things really bad for this poor Elise. And yeah, that's going to be Shrimp going down. Nice could picked up the turret as well. And Envy can choose to keep going. But will they? Baron buff times out now on Ninja. Inhibitor open, 5v4. Keen has the health bar again. Proxen low, gets away from the root. And they are staying on the top inhibitor. Lod putting in the damage. And they take it down as well, so.
I love how Ray's just on the other side of the map split pushing right now.
Can't fight.
I gotta get an advantage over this guy. I gotta be able to split push against him.
But it's the right call. This team could not have won a 5v5 with this kind of gold deficit against Baron. They had to sacrifice the inhibitor. They did. Shrimp sadly still died, which is a misplay by him. But at least Ray could try to catch up, but it likely will not be enough.
As a top laner that's built for split push, if you cannot split push against your opponent, you are useless. You run into the team fights and you aren't as effective. Like, people used to say Fizz isn't that effective in team fights. But with the attack speed build, even if he doesn't have abilities up, he's still doing a lot of damage with the constant Seastone Trident.
See how much more he can get done, because Guardian Angel's next up for Seraph here. Quick red buff goes over to Apollo, which will be nice with the Hurricane, but he's just playing with such a giant deficit. It's a 10,000 gold lead for Envy. And that Mountain Drake couldn't be any better for them to close the game out.
True. It's the one that you want at the end to get those structures as quickly as possible. And here in a siege situation, he'll get them incredibly quickly. I'm curious as to what Ray is going to go for with those 2 Ruby Crystals. Because he had a Ruby Crystal more than he needed for Sterix.
Eventually to build Titanic Hydra, I guess. Or it goes in like a Visage or something to try to survive the matchup. But
ooh,
no, man, that's
stops
what it means
2 backs.
Yeah, nice by Lot. Gives him quite a bit of time to play for this one, but as soon as I say it, missteps onto a trap, takes a ton of damage out from Apollo. Still chugging this turret down. It will fall before the reinforcements can really arrive, and it's bad for Special. Rooted up, goes down. Kill comes through to Anivia. 5v4 makes that 4v4. They got one back. Proxen never popped the ulti in time. A nice bit of damage out from Keen, and that will give some breathing room. Ray still gets to farm. Apex keeps the bottom inhibitor alive, and they get a few more seconds to run around the map. It does, however, let Envy get this Mountain Drake.
Proxen looked like he ended up getting stunned there near the end, so he couldn't pop it.
Courtesy of Shrimp and Special, I suppose.
Yep. It's Mountain Drake going over to Envy, like you said, going to help them close out the game. Pretty much the Drake that they want. See that again. Special, rooted up, the pick potential, really high, turns over. Proxen, right there, locked up and stunned. The never move got him at the end, but it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But still just enough damage there, and you even heard Shrimp smite him to try and get that kill.
Just to make sure. A little bit extra damage. Well, we know that Baron's next up on the map, and even though there's only 3 turrets left to kill for Envy, that Mountain Drake's going to mean a lot of extra damage on Baron itself.
Oh, and it's an 11,000 gold lead, or a 10,000 now at this point since the CS has been picked up. In favor of Envy. And Envy, you're looking poised to close this game out. Proxen still 100% kill participation. Executioner calling coming in now. So Keen definitely dropped off in power.
Yep. And thanks to Baron Nashor having 120 armor and 70 magic resist, it actually is more like Lod does 20% extra damage thanks to Mountain Drake, and quite a lot out of Ninja as well. Look how fast it evaporates. It's gone already. No chance at a steal. Now the team fight. Goodbye. Shrimp is dead. Ninja flashing in for a bit more damage. Gets him. Apollo's dead. Didn't burn heal or flash to survive it. Either one would have probably saved him. And now 5v3 with Baron. No chance. This should be Envy winning the series.
Yeah, Ray tried to TP in way too late on that. He's been split pushing bot, and that's going to be Envy continuing to push up. They're going for the lane that has all the minions. No inhibitor here, so they're looking to end the game right here.
No excuses. Envy scrape the lineup together with weeks to spare. 3 matches in, 3 victories. They took down 2 playoff teams. They took down the 2-0 Apex. Seraph and Co. have continued to dominate, and Envy will be again in first place.
Rather unexpected as well. When the first week came out, Envy, a lot of people didn't have their eyes on this squad. Well, now you have to start watching them. You have to start watching what they're doing against the teams that are near the top of the standings, and they just took down Apex. It was tied for first before this, and now Apex sit right below them, and they're going to envy that spot.
Yes, they are, and it's going to take them a long time until they get to play for it again, but smiles and happiness and a great team right here in front of you here. Team Envy really putting on a great performance here in the last match of the night. Seraph in the front. Yeah, the hugs coming through saying, hey, man, this was a good series. This was well played. His fizz was good. They took it very early on. I believe first round red side. Did not want to give that over to Ray. And it looks like Seraph was just as comfortable as he ever could have been on that champion. 3-1-4, solid by him. It's really a whole lineup win, though. Like, the scorelines all look good. Very few deaths. Only 3 the entire game. Hakuho 0-0 and 11, a sort of immaculate support score.
Well, he also did the most damage in the game last game on Zyra. So Hakuho is somebody who kind of flies under the radar as well in these games. He's getting really good roots off. His roam mid where he blew exhaust and got both summoners from Swain, from Keen, put Swain behind very early on and allowed Ninja to have priority in that lane.
Yeah, and Ninja did a lot with that lane, of course. So certainly Hakuho's gank and then Proxen's gank got him ahead. And, you know, Proxen got 2 of the early kills as well, so he had the early gold lead. His ultis were on point. I don't think he ever really missed one, except the one he died, he got stunned in, but saved Ninja several times with that. And I mean, this was a whole team performance, honestly. Every single one did their job. La had a whole bunch of poke for those endgame sieges. Like, he was one of the major reasons why those inhibitors even went down with the Baron buff. So everyone, I think, playing to a very high level on Envy.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with that. I think that both Apex and Envy kind of struggle from the same problems, though. They're playing at a high level as individuals, and they're having some roams, and we're seeing those kind of breakout plays. But I feel like they aren't high tempo enough, right? If you go up against the likes of Immortals or TSM, we're seeing teams kind of gain tempo in the early game, and then they don't let go. We saw Envy, they got a little bit of an advantage, and they didn't choke at that point, or they didn't choke their enemy out, right? They basically were like, okay, we have 1,000 gold lead. This is cool. Let's go back to farming items. I'm going to hit my Trinity Force breakpoint like a minute before you, but I'm not going to do anything with it.
Yeah.
So that's what I was seeing.
And then wait. And I agree. And if you watch the earlier series today, you were seeing Santorin at level 2 getting Quasa First Blood. Like,
the cheese, man.
It's not cheese. That's just good play. But that's the level of competition you're at here in the LCS. I tend to agree. I don't super love slow teams. But look, it is working for them. Whether you like it or not, that team is 3-0. Envy, beautiful stuff. So before the analyst test takes over, let's send it down to the side stage where Dom is waiting with Envy support.
Thanks, guys. I am joined with Hakuho. Congratulations on the 2-1 win, and now that puts you at 3-0 in the standings, tied up there with Immortals. First of all, how do you feel coming off of that win?
I feel pretty good. I think like we were all expecting like a win, though there was an issue with the second game.
You were expecting a win. What was it going into this game that led you to expect a win?
I mean, we just like all know that we have like better strategy, macro play for the most part, compared to like APX. Like first game, we rotated everywhere, and they were always trying to follow us. I think we like knew coming into this, if we just got the rotations game, we'd win.
And what kind of preparation leads you to find this sort of macro strategy ahead of time to have this confidence?
I think Seraph is just like really smart. He like knows like the macro game perfectly, and he shot calls like everything like rotations. And Ninja just like makes pressure for Proxen, so we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, that's something that we talked about a little bit. The Korean trio, meanwhile, you and Lod just kind of clean up whoever gets left behind by the three. So what's that like for you?
I think it works pretty well. Like me and Lod are really strong, confident in our laning, and if we go even or win, we can just make pressure for the rest of them and let them do whatever they want, and then we can rotate.
All right. Well, Hakuho, thank you so much. Congratulations on the win. Look forward to seeing you later this weekend. We're going to send it over to the guys at the Analyst to break that down.
Thank you very much, Dom. Envy coming out 3-0 now to start their split here in the summer, 2-1 over Apex. So the 3-game series went the distance, but they looked good here in this third game.
Well deserved.
Yeah, very much well deserved. Kobe, when we were talking before this third game, what should these teams do? We said, well, maybe not early action. Let's not force something they're not comfortable with. And then what happened? We had like 3 level 1 fights across the map. We had Proxen picking up 2 early kills, and then carrying that throughout the game, almost hitting that 100% kill participation, except for 1 kill that got away in the end. But overall, a relatively active early game here, so kind of switching things up. And then, of course, we saw the game really blow open at that 20-minute mark. With the ace that Envy secured.
Yeah, I mean, they decided to all-in commit to that level 1, and then boom, that's a explosion you were talking about. But here we go. Here's the mid-game where they try and funnel in, and this is actually a really crucial point because you can see Jax heading down right now. Jax is going to head off. He's going to get off this big stun, but nobody really follows. Like, they're a split second too far away, and if you have a DPS top laner, you don't have a split second. Like, you need to be in there right when he initiates, and then he goes downwards instead of going over to the other team. Once he's dead, Jax is out of the fight, it's over, and they just get cleaned up.
Yeah. I mean, they committed so much to the start of that. Flash Coon, they're going all in, trying to delete this guy. The Kindred ult comes down, denies that completely, and
he's egged.
Exactly, it's
gotta kill the egg.
It's a big commitment, and it just didn't pay off. Kindred ults were absolutely huge in this game, especially for the kind of playstyle that they had been having. It's very explosive. Jump in, delete someone, get out. That's how Ray had liked to play, and that's how the team had been playing. Off of these really fast picks. Kindred shut it down.
I mean, it definitely felt a little forced. After the Kindred ult came out. I mean, you're attacking a team that has Anivia, Karma, and a Kindred, right? We're very happy to continue to kite back. Once they had gotten the Kindred ult out, probably would have liked to have seen them back off, say, great, we'll continue scaling just like you guys do. We've got Jax and Swain, we're happy to do that. That being said, let's go ahead and look at that top lane matchup again. This time we see the Fizz come through on the side of Seraph. Seraph taking a different approach, though, going for that Triforce, kind of matching Jax along the way as opposed to taking a page out of Ray's book and going for the more tanky build.
Yeah, I really like the new Triforce for Fizz. The old Triforce was great, fine on him as well. But really, the main thing for this game to me was we saw some mistakes from Ray for kind of the first time. He looked a little bit like after the first mistake, they kind of snowballs into a couple. Just a couple little decision-making things from him. Everybody has a bad game though, so that's the first one kind of I've seen from him.
Forgivable. Forgivable. Oh, well,
I'm being so lenient here.
Yeah, he can't have another one, is what you're saying. He only gets one, right? All right, well, I got to drive us over to the player of the game. This is going to go to Proxen for this one. As we mentioned, picking up 2 early kills, turning that into 3, 1, and 9 as a final score line. Fantastic ganks, great kill participation, and then a few really crucial teamfight ultimates coming through.
Yeah, he played great. I think he really deserves it. The fact that he was involved in almost everything, he was everywhere on the map. He farmed exceptionally well. He had really high teamfight damage as well because he had picked up all his kills, all this farm. And Elise is someone who's already going to get outscaled pretty heavily by the Kindred. And then this is a Kindred with involvement in everything and a ton of farm, and he was just so strong. Really came out big for his team.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like this was pre-nerf Kindred. Plenty of damage, got all the early ganks off, plus utility for later.
What do you guys feel about these teams in terms of like assessing their power level? We've now seen 3 series out of them. This was a rather close series. We for new teams didn't maybe have a ton of expectations of them coming in, but they're continuing to impress. And even in the loss today, Apex extended the series, right? So what are our thoughts about these 2 newcomers?
I mean, I've said it before, but I really noticed the difference in teams that have a very strong leader, and not just shot caller. Every team's got people feeding information, and somebody makes a decision. Oh, that's the shot caller. But actual leadership qualities, and Seraph does have that, and it's really cool to see his growth over the years that he's been in North America. And now he is this top lane shot caller and leader, and so he's able to really manipulate the side lanes really well. And you rarely see them get behind on the side wave manipulation.
I just think it's such a huge win for Envy because after the first week, it's like, great, they're 2-0. They beat 2 teams that were 0-2.
Right.
Now they took out another team at the top of the tables who, by the way, beat the defending champions. So they're really kind of like putting themselves out there. And this is a team that I don't think had high expectations for themselves. Now taking down another top contender shows that these guys are here to compete, and they're going to be a serious challenge for anyone who goes up against them.
Yeah, very big, very meaningful victory for Envy today. Now, of course, let's take a look at the updated standings following tonight's matches. With their wins tonight, Envy and Immortals are kings of the hill with 3 wins each, and with a chance to grab a share of first place tomorrow sits TSM at 2-0. Alone in 4th is now Apex, and the 1-1 Cloud9 and Echo Fox make up the middle of the pack with the winless Counterlogic Gaming, Liquid, Phoenix 1, and Energy falling to the bottom of the standings. Tomorrow, though, make sure to be aware of all the action happening on both of our streams. On NALCS1, look out for CLG and Liquid, followed by Phoenix 1 and Cloud9. NALCS2 brings the heat with Energy Esports taking on Echo Fox, followed by TSM and Apex in the second series. And on Sunday, don't miss out on some key matches, including Immortals versus TSM and the defending champion CLG taking on Cloud9. That's a couple really old school matches I can't wait to see here. But I do want to talk about tomorrow's series a little bit, particular ones that you're looking out for, teams or matches.
I want to see how TSM performs. They haven't even dropped a single game so far.
I was going to say that.
Well, now you got to come up with something. Well, while he continues to talk, you have some time to come. You got to come up with something
Early
else.
bird catches the worm, Kobe. So TSM, I am really looking forward to seeing that. They can move themselves to the top of the table with Immortals to really set up for a Clash of the Titans on Sunday. Already exciting for that game. And if they're able to take another 2-0, it's going to be a huge game for Immortals on Sunday.
Yeah. The next team I'm looking for further development is Fox.
Okay.
Because yeah, exactly, the backup Fox. But yeah, that's another top laner where we can see the feast or famine style. KFO, he wants to play carries. They're probably going to let him play carries. And Froggen, he likes a little bit slower paced game. So that's a team where I really want to see how they decide to mix, because it seems like they might have players with different styles. See how they work together.
Now, well, I want to talk about a few other things real quick. I want to ping back on champion diversity. I know that you and I were having a conversation earlier today about we're very happy about where a lot of the recent patches have put a lot of champions, because it feels like, as opposed to in the past where there's been 1 or 2 S-tier champions that are 100% pick ban across all roles, we've now got 10+ champions viable in each role, and it really makes for some interesting and more adaptive champion select than anything in these best of 3s.
Yeah, I think one of the things that has been an interesting trend, in this new split is that bans feel much more reactive rather than just kind of set in stone. It's not like, ooh, got to get those S tiers out of there. We got to ban, Echo or Poppy. We got to ban Maokai. We got to ban both the junglers. Now it feels a lot more reactive. People are like, okay, this is what they beat us with. Let's get that out of there. Let's try something new.
As far as it goes as well, I think that we have a long ways to go for progression here.
Oh, yeah.
There are definitely other champions that are strong, or I think are strong right now, that have yet to see playtime just because people haven't practiced them as much. I already mentioned the Alawi. I talked about that a whole bunch. You don't want to hear anymore.
I do not.
I got another one for
what
you.
About the Alawi, Kobe?
There's another tentacle monster, and it's Vel'Koz, and he got some massive buffs in the last patch.
I like how you tied that together.
Tentacle monster theme, but you know we're talking about high damage supports. Everybody's like, oh my god, Zyra came out of nowhere. Everybody's using her now. She's really strong zone control. The new Vel'Koz got super strong buffs, and he can put out a lot of damage and control a lot of areas as well.
It's the classic Azir counter, but Azir got nerfed, right? So
Could be mid or support, so he's flex pick.
Okay, yeah, it's the new Zyra, right? The new Zyra support. Crazy damage coming from your support. Anyway, that's going to do it for us here at the LCS Studios tonight. We're back in less than 24 hours, though, and looking forward to seeing you again. So now for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for spending your Friday night with us, and we'll see you tomorrow.
This is exciting. I've been wanting to see the patch here in North America, especially with the top lane talent we can bring here.
Let me push. Okay, I got him. Nice. Okay, nice. Good job. This is so good.
This is so cheeky. Huni gonna be forced to flash. Quas flash Q. He's gonna get a bit of knockback. Damage is down, and first blood goes to Quas.
As a team, we are better, okay? This is gonna be alright.
I think this will be able to chase him down. Leap in there, and that's the ace.
Reignover has really been turning it on Italy here.
Pobelta doing a lot of heavy lifting in that mid and late game. Might be able to clean this one out. The damage is there, but Huni goes straight over the wall for another one. Pobelta collects kills everywhere.
Immortal stays undefeated in matches. They got better as the series progressed.
I don't feel like Apex is that strong. Even with like super high gold leads, they struggle to actually close them out. So I feel like it shouldn't be too hard.
I'm fine. I'm back. I'm pretty taken now.
Yeah, I go quickly.
I get Victor. Nice. We can end. Yeah, nice. we can end.
They're going to knock down Apex in game 1, and Envy are certainly here to stay. There's the kite away. Looking for Hakuro, nearly deletes. Oh my god! He's killing everybody, and he still won't go down. A double kill for Ray. And that's a second one! Oh my god! Ray going off on the full AD Jarvan, and Apex tie up the series. A great cleanup by him, Proxen in again, but he will also get a special. What a great team fight for Envy. And Envy will be again in first place.